ask him to be.
I don't, well, if you need to run, I'm just wondering if someone else should be recording it.
Oh yeah, good point. Okay, 27 people in the waiting room.
It's getting better.
I think we should let everybody in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right, everybody. Here they come. All right. All right, Glenn, unmute yourself. Pretty please.
Hello!
All
Can
right,
you hear me,
everybody.
good sir?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the training today, how we built a seven-figure agency using virtual assistants. We're going to give it just maybe another 5, 10 seconds here for everybody to get into the room.
Get in the
Um,
room, everybody.
get in the room.
Get in the room.
Pretty please. Hope everybody's having a awesome week so far, and thank you guys for taking a little bit of time out of your day to spend some time with us and be here on the training today. Um, First off, guys, I'm really excited for this training. One thing that I can tell you guys is a little bit of my experience with virtual assistants to kind of start this off. We worked with
Hey,
virtual assistants.
hey.
Hang on. See if I mute everyone, then I mute Glenn too. Can't do that. Um, there we go. So, as many of you probably know, about a year ago, a little bit over, Glenn's companies, Hire Heroes and Lead Heroes, that are built on the basis of virtual assistants, and my companies merged together around that point in time, right? But even before that, we were using virtual assistants that we worked with Lead Heroes and Hire Heroes on. Um, Prior to the merger. But since the merger's taken place, now we've worked with an abundance of virtual assistants, and we as a combined company, um, have seen that with the help of virtual assistants, it's caused our agency to really grow exponentially, right? That extra staffing force can't be discounted. And I think one thing we're going to be able to kind of talk with you guys on in this training here today is that you cannot discount the compounding ability of having help in your business. Not just help, but affordable help, right? Like there's a lot of you out there that are drowning in everyday tasks that are taking away time that you could be using to grow your business. But maybe you might not be at a point where you can afford to hire anybody to help you stateside, right? That like, you know, cost of living has gone crazy, inflation, everything like that, and wages has gone up as a result as well. And so, we feel like virtual assistants are a fantastic alternative to that. What's going on?
Oh, there you go. You were glitching for a second there.
Oh, I am? How about
No,
now?
you're good. You're good now. You're good.
Okay. All right. We feel like virtual assistants, guys, are a fantastic alternative way that you can really grow your business and get some help and focus on the things that you really need to be focusing on to really cause your business to grow. So yeah, we're excited to be here with you today. Excited you guys all took some time out of your day to be here with us. And I'm going to pass the mic over to really the virtual assistant guru, as far as I'm concerned, the authority in the room, in any room. And that is, of course, Glen Shelton himself. I'm going to pass the mic over to him and let him run with it, guys.
Thank you, sir. What a kind introduction. And yes, just wanted to um, echo the sentiments that Christian had there. Appreciate everyone who's taking the time out of their day to jump on this webinar with us. If you have any questions or concerns or comments as we're going, please do not hesitate to drop those into the chat. We will get to those at the end of the webinar. We want to make sure we get through the content that we have planned for you guys today. So, if we don't get to your question or comment or concern right away, don't worry. We'll try to prioritize that, give some time at the end of this webinar. And if that doesn't happen, if we get to the end of our Q&A session, there's still more questions or comments or concerns, which happens, we'll make sure to reach out to you guys individually as well. So how we built a seven-figure agency using virtual assistants. There is so much that you guys need to do on a day-to-day basis to be successful as an agent, as an agency owner. And sometimes you might have staff available to help. Sometimes you might not. You might be an independent agent and you're trying to do literally all of it. Again, I was an independent agent for years. Christian was an independent agent for years. We 100% understand the struggle of what you guys are going through on a day-to-day basis. It's tough. It's really tough. So let's jump right into it. Let's get to some of the exciting content now. This is something too that we have planned for you guys. Being on the webinar today, we will have a bonus exclusively for you guys. I'm not going to tell you what it is quite yet, so stay tuned. We will get into the details of that webinar bonus at the end. So why hire a virtual assistant? Christian kind of touched on this in his introduction there, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail. So cost effectiveness, right? That's a big one. And before it was cost effective, but now with inflation over the past 5 years, it's become even more cost effective. Talking to agents all across the US, Christian on our podcast the other day was talking about one of our agents who is based out of California, and they were looking for help. They were looking for someone to come in and do admin level tasks, customer service, answering the phone, scheduling appointments, right? Basic tasks. And they were looking at spending somewhere between $25 to $30 per hour based on the cost of living, based on the competitiveness of the local jobs there, right? If McDonald's is desperate to hire and they're hiring at $20 an hour or potentially more, you're probably going to have to be competitive if you're trying to hire someone stateside local to you. So a virtual assistant, someone who is working remotely, again, through Hire Heroes, our team is based in the Philippines. You are able to take advantage of a more cost-effective solution. Getting those same tasks accomplished without spending 2 to 3 times as much as you would have to do with someone locally. Not to mention, there's also the potential benefit of, what you would have to spend on taxes, right? I mean, a W-2 employee is potentially going to cost you even more than what you're just paying them for payroll, right? You have your tax liability with them. There might be, other things that you have to get into with a local employee, like, vacation time. We handle all of that at Hire Heroes. You don't have to think about any of that, right? It's an outsourced, effective solution for a virtual assistant. And again, even if you don't use Hire Heroes, if you were to go somewhere else and get a virtual assistant, you can potentially reap these same benefits of the cost effectiveness. Scalability. This is a big one, you guys. If you are wanting to grow as an agent or agency owner, you don't just need one person. You're probably going to need 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 people, right? Again, as an FMO owner, as an agency owner, there are so many different positions that we have virtual assistants in, either as a true assistant to someone who's a key role player here in the States, or sometimes that virtual assistant is the key role player. Again, it just kind of depends on the task that they're handling. We're going to get more into the task specifics later, so I don't want to bring that up now, but the scalability is such a big part of this. When you have a system in place where you can grow and you know how much you'll spend when you're growing, you can control the speed of your growth. I can't tell you how many times I've broken my companies over the years trying to scale, struggling to scale. having a roadmap in front of you where you can effectively scale in a cost-effective way is a game changer. It's 100% a game changer. That's what Christian and I have ultimately continued to do. That's what we did last year. That's what we're doing this year. And this is something we want to help you guys with. That's why we're doing this webinar today. Now, freeing up your time. If you've listened to any of my content over the years, this is something I've talked about a million times. Your time in your business as an agent, as an agency owner, is so expensive. And if you're not viewing it that way, you should start viewing it that way. You should be the one that has the ability to generate the highest amount of revenue in your company. So, and there's different ways of essentially calculating that, right? I mean, if you're an independent agent, you can literally take your gross commissions for the month, divide it by the hours you're working, and figure out, a rough estimate of what your true hourly gross revenue looks like, right? I've done that before. And what'll happen when you go through this exercise is if you find out what your gross revenue per hour is right now, and then you do a true accounting of your time and where you're spending your time, you'll start to unload some of these tasks, some of these things that you're doing with your day to day that is slowing you down. And what happens is you spend more time, or what should happen, anyways, you start to spend more time on your highest revenue generating activities. As an agent, if you're a solo producer, an independent agent, that means selling more insurance, getting out in the field more, spending more time on the phone. You'll see that kind of hockey stick approach, right? You'll see more revenue coming in because you're not spending time doing data entry. You're not spending time answering every single phone call that rings at your agency number. You're able to spend more time selling insurance. If you're an agency owner and you're trying to recruit agents, maybe your time spent on the phone recruiting agents, right? You're in front of agents trying to get them to come work at your agency. That might be your highest revenue grossing activity. Everyone might have a slight variation of what that looks like. I'm not here to tell you what it should or shouldn't be, but the goal of this is to get you to spend as much time as possible focused on your highest revenue generating activity and letting someone else handle the stuff that a lot of times you guys are either bad at or you hate doing. So why do it, right? Why spend your time doing things that you hate that don't generate you any revenue, or it's a low revenue generating task, right? Something that's easily handed off to someone else, to a virtual assistant. So freeing up your time, huge one. One of my favorite parts of a virtual assistant. The reason I hired my first virtual assistant 10, 11 years ago now was to free up my time so I could spend more time in the field. So that is why you should consider hiring a virtual assistant. Now, here's the big one. Here's the big question, right? This is the number one question we see at Hire Heroes. This is the number one question I get as someone who's spent a decade working with virtual assistants. Well, what can they actually do? Okay, Glenn, that sounds great, but like what can they really do? They can't sell insurance for me, Glenn. Yes, that's true. They're not a licensed agent. They can't actually write applications for you. But outside of that, you would be surprised at how many different tasks a virtual assistant can ultimately take off your plate. It is a huge number of different things, different strategies that you can implement, that you can hand off things that you're either already doing or you're not doing because you don't have enough time that you haven't even gotten to yet. We're going to get into some of these specifically here shortly. But before we do that, we do have a special guest on our webinar today. We actually have one of our clients at Hire Heroes, Cynthia Ivy. We really appreciate her coming on today. She's going to share a little bit of her story working with Hire Heroes and help share, again, kind of give you guys some ideas on how she's implemented a virtual assistant into her agency. Christian, maybe you could help me out and spotlight Cynthia and bring her up to the virtual stage here. Again, really appreciate having you on, Cynthia, and would love just to take a minute and kind of share your experience and how things are going with your virtual assistant.
All right, hello. Can y'all hear me real good?
Yes.
All right. right. So I have been working with Hire Heroes with my virtual assistant for about 2 years. What made me get a virtual assistant was Glenn kept coming across my page, get a virtual assistant, get a virtual assistant. And I was working all by myself, in which I was very overwhelmed because I was doing so much. And when you're in this business by yourself, it can get to be a lot quick, especially when you're growing fast. So I ended up getting my virtual assistant, in which we did a one-on-one in which you introduced the virtual assistant to me. I really didn't know what I was gonna do with her. I was scared. So I brought her on part-time. Um at that time I was going to conferences and all I was hearing was delegate, 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 do money making activities. So I started delegating stuff to my virtual assistant. At that time she started doing things like answering the phone for me, making sure that I was getting paid my commissions, setting up my CRM properly, and also she manages my social media page. Um, if y'all get time, go look at my social media page, Abby Solutions. She does a great job with it. So after me giving her so many tasks that I had, she came to me and she was like, "Hey Cynthia, what you think about me coming on 8 hours?" And I was like, "No, I don't need your 8 hours now. You're doing good part time." So I thought about it and it was coming up to AEP. Yes. It was coming up to AEP, and that was the first year that I had hired her. Now, one of the good things that happened when I hired my virtual assistant is when I first hired her, we only did the chat through the Hire Heroes platform, Glenn. The best
Hmm.
thing I could ever do was start doing weekly Zooms with Joan. So we did
Yes.
weekly Zooms, face to face. I got to know her. She got to know me. And now it's just like she's inside my head. Like I can tell her to do something, and it's like, dang, how you know I wanted you to do it like that? So
I
it
love
has
it.
worked out really. It has really, really worked out great for me. Joan is full time. I don't see her going anywhere anytime soon. And one thing about it is when she came on, I didn't have to train her, but I just had to train her how to do it my way because
Yeah.
she already pretty much knew as far as what to do.
Yeah. No, I that's perfect, Cynthia. I really appreciate you sharing your story, how things have gone for you. And that's a great point too. I appreciate you kind of pointing that out. These virtual assistants are not just a random nobody. These are people coming in, they have a baseline knowledge, right? They understand how to use Google's suite of products. They understand, they have a baseline understanding of Medicare, of the insurance world. You know, but there is some training involved, right? And it seems like that took it to the next level for you, Cynthia, having those reoccurring Zoom calls, which I love. I think the more time you invest in your
Hmm.
assistant or in your employees, I think you see that ROI. Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes, it has worked out real good.
I love it.
And
Cyn-
she attends our Monday meetings. So
I love it.
yeah. Thank you
That's
so
perfect.
much, Glenn.
No, thank
And
you,
Christian.
Cynthia. Yes, yeah. Thank you for coming on, sharing your story. I love that, and looking forward to another huge year of you growing your agency. And we're looking forward to supporting you and excited to see where you go.
All right. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Cynthia.
Thank you, Cynthia.
So now we want to get into some of these specific roles. So Cynthia touched on some of the different things that she has her virtual assistant doing in her agency. What we did when we were planning for this webinar today, and like I said before, there's a ton of different tasks and roles that you can bring a virtual assistant into. We wanted to focus on what we felt are the top three, the number one, two, and three of what most agents need or what we're seeing most commonly at Hire Heroes. So this first one is an administrative assistant. Again, as an independent agent, this is something that a lot of you need. You need someone who can be essentially your virtual receptionist, your front desk. Even if they're not actually sitting in your office, you might not even have an office, and that's fine. But when someone calls into your number, your agency number, they don't know that. And again, I've used this analogy before. If you call a doctor's office, it'd be really weird if the doctor picked up the phone, right? You shouldn't necessarily be that available. And it's not, some people view that as like, oh, that's bad customer service, Glenn. If I'm not the one picking up the phone, it's not. The average business is structured in a way that there is someone else who typically handles the phones, that first level of communication. It could be scheduling an appointment. It could be, a customer service related issue. It could be them calling leads on your behalf, right? I love the doctor's office analogy because everyone understands how divided the roles are in a doctor's office. There's the front desk, they're handling the appointments, the scheduling. There's the nurse, she's handling kind of the intro, taking the vitals. Then the doctor comes in. They have a baseline of what's going on. They're running the appointment. They're the highest generating revenue person at the doctor's office. It's the doctor. His time is the most valuable time of anyone else. Your agency, or you as an agent, it should essentially be structured the same way. Your time is the most available. You can just come into these appointments, whether it's a telephonic appointment or an in-person appointment. You have a baseline knowledge of what's going on. You know the lead that they responded to, or if it is a serious customer service issue where you do have to get involved and your administrative assistant couldn't handle for you. That's what I want you to start to think when you start to really think, well, how can I grow my agency? How can I grow as an agent? Dividing these roles and really making sure you're spending your time, because we only have so much time every day, every week. Even if you're a workaholic like Christian and you're working 14 hours a day, you still have a limited amount of time, right? There's only so much time. So figuring out how you can really focus on your highest generating revenue activities is what will really hockey stick your business. So administrative assistant, virtual receptionist, right? They can manage your inbox, send basic email communication, alert you to serious communication if there's like something that came up that you really need to address, answering the phones, inbound, outbound calls. If you're running appointments all day, it's really hard to try to answer inbound calls as well. If you get to 100, 200, 300 clients, you'll start to see some inbound traffic. It's just natural. It's just the natural progression of being an agent, being an agency owner. And I mean, how many times have you guys seen posts in the Facebook groups? I'm spending half my week dealing with inbound calls. What do I do? I'm drowning. What do I do? Customer service is killing the growth of my agency. What do I do? This is what you do. This is a really great solution. Get an administrative assistant. Whether that's, again, in person, you go find someone somewhere else, or you're working with hire heroes, stop doing all of this yourself. One of my favorite ones I'm going to mention really fast too here, I was talking to Christian about, that was a game changer for me as an agent, is changing calendar appointments. How many times, you guys, have you been stuck in an appointment, which again, it could be a good appointment, but Susie Senior, Mrs. Jones, she's talking about her spoon collection for 30 minutes, and you're trying to get this application done, and you're not going to make it to your next appointment. And if you don't have anybody helping you, what are you supposed to do? Hey, Mrs. Jones, I need to step out for a second and call my next appointment and let them know that I'm running late because of you. Being able to send a, one sentence message by text, by chat to my virtual assistant and say, hey, I'm in this appointment still. Can you tell Susie number 2 that I'm going to be late, or I need to reschedule later today, tomorrow, whatever. Game changer for me. Not to mention, you can also have them managing some of your personal appointments. You have to go to the dentist, right? All of it, all of it. Free up your time, free up your life. Support staff, another key role player that should be on your team. This is someone that's doing data entry. If you're spending time on spreadsheets, oh my gosh, my heart goes out to you. God bless you. Why waste your time entering data into spreadsheets? That is a very low to no revenue generating activity. CRM management, the vast majority of you either don't have a CRM, or you have one and you're just not using it. You're not keeping up with it. CRM can be vital to your growth as an agent or agency owner. And if you're not keeping up with it or managing it, please bring someone in. Hire a virtual assistant. They can stay on top of it for you. They can keep the notes clean. If there's a claim, if there's an issue, if there's another appointment, if they get a second policy, something pertaining to AEP that's coming up, whatever it is, spouses aging in, you name it, a virtual assistant can easily keep this information organized on your behalf in your CRM. We even include seven-figure CRM for free with a virtual assistant at Hire Heroes. We're going to get into that a little bit more later. Bookkeeping, another super important role that a lot of you are struggling with or you're not doing it. God bless your CPA in that situation. If you're showing up and you're like, hey, here's my credit card bills, I don't know what I exactly spent or made last year. Keeping your financial data in order is crucial to growing your business, and a virtual assistant can help with that. Cynthia mentioned this. This is something that we have virtual assistants at our agency helping us a ton. This was another game changer for me personally. I don't have the time to manage 6 different social media platforms. That is a full-time job. But the flip side of it is I don't want to miss important messages. I don't want to miss someone on LinkedIn reaching out to me saying, Glenn, I saw your video the other day. I really need help with leads. Can you give me a call? I can't tell you, before I had a virtual assistant helping manage my social media, I was missing those messages left and right. Opportunities for me as a business owner that I was not able to take advantage of because I had too much going on. And let's face it, in 2025, with all these different social media platforms, you really should be omnipresent. You should try to be active on as many as you can. That makes sense for you. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, if you're on X, TikTok, is it back? Is it not? I don't know. You should probably be there though, right? So there's all these different social media platforms that you could be active on that you either don't have time to post content, you don't have time to manage comments, you don't have time to manage business pages on these social media platforms. A virtual assistant can be a huge player in this. Not saying that you can necessarily completely dump this off. I always recommend being involved, helping with the actual content creation, and then letting them maybe post, manage those comments. AI has been a huge help with this. Again, not that you want to 100% use AI content, but maybe just coming up with some, certain headlines for certain posts, right? Or if you want to change some stuff up and you don't like what you wrote, a virtual assistant can come in, take your ideas, potentially filter it through ChatGPT, some other AI software. AI, in my opinion, isn't here to necessarily replace virtual assistants. I see it as an M16. I think it's a super strong weapon that you can give to your virtual assistants, train them on how to use these different softwares and different tools, especially with something like social media. So that is our big three. There's more. There's more outside of that, but I wanted to really focus on what we feel are the big three roles: support staff, administrative assistant, and someone who can help you manage your social media. There is definitely more. And if you have questions, well, hey, Glenn, can my virtual assistant do this? Or what about a virtual assistant being in this role? We have management staff. We have virtual assistants who are exclusively handling management level activities at our companies. We have virtual assistants who are executive level management at our businesses. You're almost just limited by your imagination when it comes to what a virtual assistant can handle in your business. Now, I want to get to something that's super important to the Hire Heroes platform and what you're going to see with our software that is proprietary. We custom built this. We're technically on the 3rd generation of this software. And what you're going to see is several tools that we have baked into one platform to allow you to work with a virtual assistant in a more seamless way. And without kind of giving away everything here before, I don't want to steal Nikki's thunder. Nikki is our admin at Hire Heroes. If you were to get a virtual assistant from us, you're most likely going to be hearing from Nikki. We wanted to invite her on to share a little sneak peek into our software and give you guys a quick demo. So, Nikki, I really appreciate you taking time. I know you're busy. I'd love for everyone to get a quick sneak peek of the software and how it works.
Hi everyone, I'm Nikki, the admin for Hire Heroes, and today I'm going to introduce you to the updated version of the Hire Heroes app. So let me share my screen so I can walk you through the presentation. Okay, can you see my screen? All right. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's open a browser and then go to app.hireheroes.com. So once you already open the website, so if you don't have an account yet in the Hire Heroes app, all you need to do is just to create an account. And then after creating an account, you will receive an email verification. So verify your account, and once your account is already verified, go back to the website and then sign in. Okay, so once you're already logged in, the first thing that you will see once you're logged in is the dashboard. So this is how it looks like. So the dashboard shows you um, your virtual assistant's productivity. So it shows you how long they've worked. You can even filter by specific dates or date ranges to get detailed insights. So, for example, you already have your virtual assistant working and you want to check her productivity. Just click this calendar icon, select the specific date. For example, you'd like to check the 20th and then the 21st, and then click on apply here. So it will show you how many minutes or hours your virtual assistant worked on that specific date. All right, next is projects. So here you can create projects or tasks and assign them to your virtual assistant. This feature ensures that all responsibilities are clear and well organized. So, how to create a project? First is just to click this add button, create or enter a project name. Let's say, for example, CRM management, create a description, and hit on create. So, once you already created a project, it will be shown here. And to create a task, first you need to assign this project to your virtual assistant. Click these three dots, click on Manage VAs, and then if you have multiple virtual assistants, this is what you're going to see. But if, let's say, you only have one virtual assistant, so let's assign this to VAAJ there. Okay, so it's already assigned to AJ. And then let's go back here to the project that you created. Just click this project. And this is how you're going to create a task for your VA. Click on Add button. Okay, name of the task, for example, test. And then the due date, you can set up the due date. So let's say on Monday, you need this to be done on Monday, the 27th. And you can also set the priority if it's low, medium, or high priority. And then assign it again to VAAJ. You can also send attachments or upload files using this feature. And you can also add notes or special instructions to your VA. And then after that, just click on create. Okay, after clicking on create, you will see the task that you created here. It's in high priority there. Okay, next is the training videos. Okay, so for the training videos, this is an excellent tool for onboarding your virtual assistant. You can upload tutorials to guide your VA through specific tasks or processes. So just click on upload, select the file or drag the video that you'd like to upload, and then click on upload. And then put a title to your video. By the way, your virtual assistant can also upload videos here, and it will be under associate videos. All right. So next is activity. In activity, um, it allows you to check in your VA's progress. So it captures random screenshots, giving you a transparent view of their work. You can review this by date. So click on activity, select the date that you'd like to check your VA screenshots. So for example, yes, last Monday, the 20th, and the 20th to 21st. And then let's say VA Jet. Okay, and then hit on search there. And then click on view. Now you can see or monitor, or you can review the screenshots or the activity of your virtual assistant. So all of the screenshots are here. Okay, it randomly records screenshots. Okay, and then click on close. Next, let's go to the calendar feature. So with the calendar feature, you can have your VA manage your schedule. All you need to do is just to connect your Google account in the calendar. So there, just click this one, click on connect, and it will ask you to connect um, to your Google account. Okay, next is the help desk. So for the help desk, um, you can manage your personal information like your email. You can edit your email. I'm sorry, for the help desk, you can send us, I'm so sorry, you can send us a direct message using the help desk. So you have an option to send a message here if, for example, you're having trouble or you have questions regarding the application. You can send us a direct email here, or you can send us an email directly at info@higherheroes.com. Okay, next is chat. Okay, for the chat feature, this allows you to communicate with your virtual assistant. So you can easily connect with them. All you need to do is just to log into your account, click on chat. There's also another button of chat here on the upper right hand side of the screen. And then just select the name of the VA that you'd like to send a message to. So for example, VA AJ, click her name, and then here you can type a message, send a message to your virtual assistant. You also have an option to delete it. Okay, and for example, you don't want to type in a message, you also have an option to send a voice message. Just click this microphone icon to send a voice message. It also has an option for you to send attachments or files to your virtual assistant. Just click this, um, what you call this paperclip icon. Just click this and then select the file that you'd like to send your VA and then send. Okay. And aside from that, it also has an option for you to do video calling with your virtual assistant. So here on the upper right hand side of the screen, you will see the camcorder icon. Just click this one. But it will ask you need to connect this again to your Google account here. So if you click this, it will ask you to connect to your Google account. Okay, next feature is the wallet. So this is where you are going to purchase hours for VA services. And this feature helps you monitor your remaining hours as well. So here. So to purchase hours, simply click buy hours and then select how many hours you'd like to purchase. It will show here how many hours you are purchasing, the total amount, and then the cost per hour there. So just select the number of hours you'd like to purchase and then just hit on continue. Okay, so let's say, for example, you already purchased hours. All of the transactions will be shown here. If it's succeeded, you will see the transaction number, transaction ID here, the total amount, and how many hours you purchased, and also the date. Okay. And like what I mentioned earlier, you can also monitor your remaining wallet hours. We call it digital wallet. So you will see your remaining balance here. This one. And for added convenience, you can also set up an auto pay option to ensure uninterrupted service. So enable auto charge, just click this, and then select how many hours if the trigger. So if, for example, you want to repurchase hours, if your wallet hours reaches, for example, um, 11 hours, and then select how many hours you'd like to purchase, say maximum of 480 hours. So once your wallet hours reaches below 1 hour, it will automatically repurchase 480 hours. So it will be more convenient for you. So the service will be just will be continued. Will be continued. Okay. Next is here the settings. So in settings, this is where you can manage your personal information, your first name, last name, username, and then your phone number. You can also update your password here securely. Here, just click on update and then update password if you'd like to change your password. So, and then if you need to log out, here it's on the bottom part of the screen. Just click on log out. So, well, that's it. That is the
Perfect.
Hire Heroes app. It's very straightforward and user friendly. So, thank you so much, everyone, for your time. Thank you, Glenn and Christian.
Thank you, Nikki. That was fantastic. I love being able to show you guys, again, one of the big things that we offer here at Hire Heroes, the transparency of working with a virtual assistant and the software that we've developed, being able to show those screenshots to you guys to know that, it's keeping all parties honest, in my opinion. We know that the virtual assistant's working, the virtual assistant's working. We like to use it a lot of times as a management tool. If we feel like someone's spending too much time on one task, or, hey, it looks like you were really doing this all day yesterday and you didn't get to this. Obviously, a great way to communicate, assign tasks, prioritize tasks. And, you may have seen other softwares similar to that. We essentially took all of our favorite things and tried to combine it into one simple, easy to use platform for you guys. And that is at app.hireheroes.com. Now, here's the webinar bonus I wanted to get to for everybody who attended live here today. If you are looking for a virtual assistant, you can take advantage of this webinar bonus and get a 25% increase on the number of hours you purchase. There's no limit to this. There is a minimum. You have to purchase at least 80 hours, and then you will get an additional 20 hours bonused to your digital wallet, which you just saw there on hireheroes.com. Some people choose to go bigger, get more hours. 480 hours is essentially 3 months, a quarter of a full-time virtual assistant. If you were to do that, you would get a 25% bonus on those hours as well. So that is the bonus for being live here on the webinar today. But wait, there's more. Billy Mays' ghost is here to tell you that we are also, like I mentioned earlier in the webinar, everyone who gets a virtual assistant from Hire Heroes, you also get free access to Seven Figure CRM. Now, there is still usage fees attached to this. It is our Go High Level platform. So, usage fees are essentially like a penny or a couple pennies. If you are, making a phone call, sending a text, sending an email, you do still have to pay for those usage fees, but the actual access to the platform is normally $97 a month. You do not have to pay that if you are a Hire Heroes client. You also get access to Seven Figure University. Seven Figure University has been growing over the past year, and we have, I believe, something crazy over 250 videos now in Seven Figure University covering a ton of different ways you can really continue to grow your business. Right now, it is a one-time payment of $5,000 if you are trying to access Seven Figure University. That is also included with all of our virtual assistants from Hire Heroes. Now, how do I get started with a virtual assistant? What do I do? I'm going to walk you through again, at Hire Heroes, how this process would work if you wanted to get a virtual assistant. A lot of people, again, I think they'll see, okay, I know I need one, but how do I actually get someone that I know that would potentially work with me well? Like how does that work? How can I actually get someone from Hire Heroes that works well with my agency? So we have this kind of boiled down to a simple 5-step process for you guys. So we just went through that software at app.hireheroes.com. You created an account there, and then a member of the Hire Heroes team will contact you either via email or phone call. We will schedule a meet and greet session with your virtual assistant via Zoom. So this is, again, one of my favorite parts is we want to make sure that you're happy with who we've selected based on the information we got from you up front. We're going to ask you what softwares are you planning on using, roughly what tasks you're thinking about doing. Then we're going to play matchmaker and find someone who, again, is a vetted virtual assistant that we trust, a lot of times that we're already working with. And then we're going to connect you with that person. You're going to have a quick meet and greet via Zoom. If everything looks good and you're happy and you said, yeah, let's do this, let's get started. We're going to select a start date and you'll make that first hourly purchase. Again, just like you saw right there in the software, you'll fill up your digital wallet. It could be a minimum of 80 hours, or you can get as many as 480 hours or more. Again, you'll see those hours deduct automatically as your virtual assistant is working. And then onboarding them, and start assigning your tasks to your virtual assistant. I loved what Cynthia said earlier in this webinar when she was talking about her experience working with Hire Heroes. It's not necessarily training them from the ground up. It's training them on how to do things the way you want them done. That was such a great little gold nugget she shared with you guys. And I think weekly Zoom calls are a great way of doing it. Christian and I have lots of different reoccurring Zoom calls we're doing with our team, a lot of them being remote employees. You can also utilize the Hire Heroes platform for task management. Chat with them right there on the platform, and you're off to the races, just like that. Now, there is one other thing before we kind of recap the webinar bonus. We get into some of the Q&A here, the questions that you guys have. I did want to mention too, we forgot to put a slide in for this, but we also have an affiliate offer. So if you would like to share Hire Heroes with other agents, with other people that you know, if you're thinking in your head right now on this webinar and you're like, man, I know so-and-so, or I have an audience and I'd really love for them to get virtual assistants because I think this would be a great fit for them. We do have an affiliate program available where you can earn 50 cents per hour for every hour that virtual assistant works that you referred to us. So let's say you referred someone to us, they get one full-time virtual assistant, they're working 160 hours a month. That would equate to $80 per month passively that we're paying out to you every single month. So if you would like more information on the Hire Heroes affiliate program, please send an email over to info@hireheroes.com. We would love to help you get signed up for that. Now, again, this is a limited time offer. If you are looking for a virtual assistant, you're here on the webinar, you can take advantage of this 25% bonus on a minimum purchase of 80 hours right now for the next 24 hours. And then this will be going away. So we'll leave this up on the screen for you guys. You can scan that QR code. It'll take you right to the page where you can take advantage of this limited time offer. And let's jump into it, guys. Any questions, comments, or concerns you have, feel free to drop them into the chat. Oh, sweet. Someone put the affiliate link in the chat too. There you go. Look at that. Virtual assistant magic, you guys. Just like that. So let's see here. So kind of start answering some of these one by one. Zachary, how much is it per hour? Great question. So you'll see this again on the website. It starts at $11 per hour for a part-time virtual assistant. And then based on the total number of hours you purchase, it goes down from there. So it's essentially tiered pricing based on the number of hours you purchase. So $11 per hour part-time and 80-hour purchase at 160 hours, which would be a full-time employee. Although you can purchase 160 hours and have them use them at a slower rate if you'd like. So you could have a part-time employee but still get that $10 per hour price if you pay for 160 hours. And then our top tier discount is 480 hours or more, and that's $9 per hour. Jeremy, does your company provide all the information needed to report to the carriers if you're using a VA to touch client data and leads, TPMO requirements? Yes. So we didn't get into HIPAA either, but we actually have some documentation that we can have both parties sign, both us and you, that covers HIPAA compliance, and also covers any additional TPMO information that you would need to provide to anyone who's requesting that. We are HIPAA compliant at Hire Heroes, so you don't have to be concerned about your virtual assistant touching private PHI, right? Private health information of your clients. We talked about CRM management previously in the webinar. Obviously, that's going to typically be a part of that. So that is something that we can handle. So yes, absolutely. Specific VoIP providers. So here internally at the agency, we use Ring Central. We can potentially work with almost any VoIP provider, though. Ring Central has been really popular for a lot of agents and agencies. That's who we utilize. You could even use something as simple as Google Voice, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. But yeah, there's lots of different VoIP providers out there that you could work with. But I do recommend that. I mean, it's obviously if you don't have a VoIP service and you're just a hard line number or it's just your cell phone number, it's hard for a virtual assistant to access that number. So a VoIP service will really help that virtual assistant access your phone number. Yeah, the hourly it starts at $11 per hour and it goes down to $9 per hour based on how many hours you purchase. So again, you'll see that at hireheroes.com, or if you go to the promo page here, va.hireheroes.com, you'll see that information. So yeah, check out the site. I'd like to expand my VA's tasks to include customer service. Can they call the carriers? Do we need to report the name to the carriers? Is teaching how to resolve complex enrollment billing issues appropriate to help
Back
with
home.
the service? Christian, I don't, maybe this is something you could answer as far as, I don't know if all carriers require if they're calling in to do customer service. I know maybe some do, but maybe you could speak to that.
Yeah, there's definitely some that do. All carriers have kind of a little bit of a differentiating policy with that. Like Devoted, for example, has a pretty uh, firm policy on that from the standpoint that, you have to let them know every person, that you are working with that's overseas or anything like that. Um, it's kind of one of those things where it's like you just try to do the best you can to comply with each carrier's individual requirements, but there's some that either don't have very firm um, guidelines on it or rules that you need to follow, and there's others that have several. It doesn't mean that you can't work with somebody that's overseas, but you just have to do an additional, I guess, step of providing information, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's, and then again, you can obviously check with the carrier too, right? If you're really concerned about that, you can ask them. But so you asked there, Joanne, complex enrollment billing issues. So that's where it's kind of you'll have to kind of see the forest through the trees depending on the situation. One example that I see all the time is, I lost my card. I need to order a new card, right? I mean, we all see that all the time. That is something that you absolutely shouldn't be touching. That's a great example of something a virtual assistant can do is ordering a card for one of the Medicare beneficiaries. And then again, depending on how complex it is, and maybe it's something where the VA saw it once after you went through it with them, and then the next time around, they could actually help that senior or a new senior with that same issue. And this is where some of the training comes in, like we talked about. They will have a baseline knowledge, but they're not going to come in and necessarily understand complex enrollment or billing issues, right? They might need help from you understanding how they can help with that. But I highly recommend trying to train this person towards your goal. If you're even considering it, most of the time they can probably handle what you're needing help with. So, Zach, do any VAs that call leads or schedule in person? Absolutely, Zach. So that's one of our bread and butter tasks. Administrative assistant handling phone calls. And I wanted to mention too, they asked about, someone asked earlier about a VoIP service. Go high level. Again, we include with all of our virtual assistants, you get access to seven-figure CRM. It does have a built-in VoIP service in our Go High Level platform. So if you need a CRM, or maybe you have a CRM, but you want something separate and you really have no VoIP service, Go High Level is a potential option as well to have a virtual assistant make calls. But yes, the scheduling appointments is one of our core competencies. Absolutely. I don't have a CRM. I have an Excel sheet and paper folders. Can a VA help build that for? Yes, you are living the dark. Shayna, hey, self-awareness is the first step. So I appreciate you saying that you know you're living in the dark ages. All you need is a scanner, right? I've done that personally myself. When I've had a lot of paper and I need help from a virtual assistant, you know, obviously if you have like 2,000 pages, you might want a high-speed scanner. But once you get everything scanned, a virtual assistant can come in and essentially digitize whatever we're talking about here. So, as an example, if you had 2,000 direct mail leads and you wanted all these leads input into a CRM system, or you wanted to match the leads with, who's a client, who's not a client, a virtual assistant can 100% help you with that. And if you don't have a CRM and you get a virtual assistant from Hire Heroes, you do get access to seven-figure CRM at no cost. So we can definitely help. Um, yes. Chris, thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. They can definitely help you transfer information. Yeah, Joanne scan 250. Perfect. There you go. Do you have them fill out applications? I mean, I guess in theory, if you're like on a three-way phone call, right, and you're wanting them to essentially manually fill in the information as you're going through it with a client, you could have them fill out the application in that sense. Well, they do non-insurance work general, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, bookkeeping is a great example of this. So, will they do non-insurance related, just business tasks? Absolutely. Yes. Um, that's, again, kind of a bread and butter specialty of it can be something super generic. It doesn't have to be insurance specific. And I think bookkeeping is a great example of that. That's something that all businesses need help with, you know. So yeah, I mean, again, your imagination is almost the limit in a lot of ways, you guys, of what this virtual assistant can help you with. Yes, Christian already answered this in the chat, but I'll kind of readdress this. So there are usage fees with the seven-figure CRM. So it's our Go High Level white label. The seven-figure CRM is the usage fees. It's like a penny or a couple pennies through Twilio, right? Twilio is the back end of the CRM platform that allows the communication to happen. So there are some fees. If you're only using it a little bit, you're not doing a ton of communication through the CRM system, you'll hardly even notice any cost associated with it. Obviously, if you're doing thousands and thousands of phone calls through the CRM, you will see some usage costs there. So I want to make sure that's clear for sure. The CRM is free right now for virtual assistant clients. So if you get a virtual assistant from Hire Heroes, it's included at no cost. There's no time limit on that right now. Man, Christian's racing. He's a keyboard warrior right now, you guys. He's racing me in the chat. How can we see the cost with your CRM? Is that on the website? We can talk again. This might be something. We're coming up on top of the hour, you guys. The goal was really to try to keep this within the 60 minutes. So I really appreciate, again, everyone coming on the webinar today. So with the specific costs of the CRM, Shane, what we can do is have someone from the Hire Heroes team reach out to you and potentially go over that. So I'll try to answer a few more questions here before we wrap up. Make sure I didn't miss any. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So any VAs to do website development. So the Go High Level platform can build out simple websites. So if you absolutely have no website and you just want even a basic landing page as an example to, have your agency name, or maybe you're trying to build out some lead landing pages to connect to Facebook. VAs can 100% help you with that. So now, if you're looking for something more complex, again, it kind of depends on how complex we're talking here. But that's something that we can, on the intake form, when we're asking, what are you trying to accomplish with your virtual assistant? If it's just a basic website, that's 100% in our wheelhouse. If you're trying to build a 50-page complex website and you need some coding done, that might be something kind of outside our wheelhouse. But we can get into that individually. Casey, this is a great question and it comes up often, is customer privacy, my book of business. So there's really multiple ways that we have tried to ensure, both metaphorically and literally. We have a cyber insurance policy that's $1 million policy. So this is for data protection. We've actually had to take this out to work with some of these bigger enterprise level businesses on their with virtual assistants with their company. So we have $1 million insurance policy in the event that there's a data breach. So I hope that gives some of you some peace of mind in working with us. We also have a terms of service agreement where we outline kind of the privacy of your information, that it's your info, not ours, and that we don't take anything off your platform. We're just viewing it through our computer screen. And then we also have, like I mentioned before, we have our HIPAA agreement where we will actually sign that agreement with you, citing privacy of you and your customers. So Casey, super reasonable concern to have. We've tried our best to really address it. And I can also say confidently, we've never had an issue with anyone over the past 4 years that we've really been aggressively growing Hire Heroes. We've never had an issue with anyone's book of business or any HIPAA related information, no breaches, nothing like that any of our clients have had to deal with. How long does it take to get started? Typically, again, it kind of depends on the timing, but typically we can get a virtual assistant set up with you in as little as 2 or 3 business days from when we get that request. If we're coming up on the weekend, or if we're inundated with requests at the moment, it might take a little bit longer, but generally about 2 to 3 business days from when you request that virtual assistant, we can get that meet and greet scheduled. Password sharing, what I would recommend is a password manager. So, there's lots of different options with password managers now, but it's really easy to have your password stored. You can share it to specific websites for logging in. And then you can also change it really easily. So if you need to change a password, you can do it through the manager. And then you can also revoke, passwords for certain websites. So LastPass is an example of a password manager. Bitwarden, there's lots of different password managers out there. So feel free to hit Google with that one and you'll see all the different options there. So again, you guys, for the next 24 hours, we will be offering this 25% bonus on every hour that you purchase beyond the minimum of 80 hours. You're getting those free hours built into your wallet. So please, if you're interested in a virtual assistant, if you're even on the fence, this would be the time to pull the trigger. Take advantage of those free hours. You really have almost nothing to lose, I promise. We want to help you grow your business. We want to help take these no revenue, low revenue generating activities off your plate. If you have any other specific questions that we didn't get to, I apologize, but send those over to info@hireheroes.com, hireheroes.com, and we would love to answer any other questions that you guys have. Until next time, happy selling, everybody. Yes, Joanne, that's only for new virtual assistants.